also to serve humanity. Service involves very simple things that anyone can do. Little things that each one of us can engage in. And more often than not, it costs little to do those things. Where it even costs money, you as the servant, you are required to provide where possible. Our service to humanity helps people to be attracted to Christ and offer their lives to Him. And that in itself is evangelism. Amen.
Matter, the Ignatian First Principle and Foundation. I've copied out a couple of paragraphs here, not the whole thing, but this is a prayer by St. Ignatius from the 1500s, and it is still being used today, and it has meant a lot to me in my own life. All the things in this world are gifts of God, presented to us so that we can know God more easily and make a return of love more readily. Then there's some other paragraphs, and then for all these created gifts, insofar as we have a choice and are not bound by some obligation. We should not fix our desires on health or sickness, wealth or poverty, success or failure, a long life or a short one. For everything has the potential of calling forth in us a deeper response to our life in God. So suffering is a gift that we don't really want, but we must view it also as a gift from God. I remember being in Uganda with Esther in Nakivale, the refugee camp, and hearing the stories of the refugees from the many countries around, and finally putting on their group photo the verse from the end of Hebrews, of whom the world was not worthy. That for the rest of his life. He just passed away at the age of 90 or something in the last few months. He worked through that traumatic event his whole life, and one time a person came to him after he spoke about his life and said, "You're stewarding your suffering very well. You're a very good steward of your suffering." And that really caught his attention. And this is a gift of God. It is a high calling of God, and it's something that we need to steward. Like in the parable of the talents, some are given 10, some 5, some 1. But however much God has given us, whatever He has given us, health or sickness, long life, short life, freedom, captivity, we can steward that suffering. We should not bury it in the ground from it, as you have seen and heard of these testimonies we've already heard here and you've heard in your ministry. If you bury your pain, your life will be diminished. Because if we're not willing to feel the pain of our suffering, we don't want to go there, just stuff it down, we will also not feel the joyful emotions. So your life becomes narrower and narrower, and you're more like a machine than a human being. That's not the flourishing life. That's not the abundant life that God intends for us. So with our part of stewarding our pain is...
Trauma healing is, well, we all experience suffering in one way or another, whether it's something small or something that completely stops our lives. And trauma is when we actually have a big trauma, but The same healing principles apply when we have small things that bother us, make us feel sad or angry or worried. We can use those same principles to find a balance and to heal from that pain. So trauma healing is helping people, whether their trauma is from war, from domestic violence, rape, in Ghana with Bible societies from around Africa, as well as church leaders, police, educators, counselors, and others, church leaders from the various churches in Ghana. Loss of family members, loss of job, loss of home, loss of girlfriend, some of you are very young, loss of boyfriend, it's about knowing how to care for yourself and help others to become well again after a painful experience. For prayer, for sharing new ideas, problem solving, as well as letting others know about this program and maybe inviting them to incorporate it into their ministry or their school or their seminary or their counseling or their orphanage, whatever. In a way, we don't ever want to have suffering. We would like to have happiness every day and good things without stop. But sometimes God gives us the gift of suffering. It's a high calling. He knows we can handle it. And it is at those times of suffering that sometimes we are able to really know God better, refine our thoughts about God, figure out what is important in life. And so suffering is a gift. It is a gift. And we can steward it in the way that we help ourselves develop as better people through it and also help others who are suffering. There are so many people who have come through a suffering of a certain sort, and their knee-jerk reaction, what they want to do is to help other women who are in domestic abuse, other women who've been raped, other people who are suffering from whatever the trauma is. So it helps us to be better, to know ourselves better and to work with others and know others better, yeah.
Eventually, we are spreading to the whole country. We've gone to the north, all kinds of regions, and you find trainers in all regions. And these are the people who will then do the training in the districts, in the regions. There's already a strategy that Bible Society has for the training. Today's training is for people who have been trained and actually practicing the program. Today is for those who are practicing the program. So that's why it's called the community of practice. So these people already know the strategies. What we are doing here is just exchanging ideas and learning from one another and learning best practices. But Bible Society already has a strategy, and anybody who's trained goes out and actually uses that strategy to also help it. You can come, call, and really fill forms, and anytime it's a training, be part of the training. Or you can call us to your organization, and if you have a number, we can do the training for your organization. Government is already aware of what Bible Society is doing. God is already aware, all the churches are aware. Actually, some of the churches have already started doing it. And in some of the schools counseling departments, they also do it. So it's not new to the country. It's something that has been done, but it's not being done on a large scale. And when we do this kind of meetings, programs, we encourage people to now do it on a large scale. That's already in the system. Saying is that don't suffer alone. Reach out to somebody. And we're saying that reach out to the Bible Society and we will help you. If you don't reach out for somebody to help you, sometimes you might get into depression. It can even be suicidal. There is help. One of the things is that people think there is no help, but there's a lot of help. So reach out, and if you saw the documentary, we put phone numbers there so that you can call or you can go to the society and you will find.
You will go through trauma in one way or the other. And among the various institutions where you go through a lot of trauma with the Ghana Police Service. And it's not only the officers, but our customers, the general public who come to us. Within the police sectors, you see the work is very risky. And the nature of the job always prone us into the zone of trauma. And this ranges from even transferring a person to a place where he or she is not feeling comfortable to go. But once we are serving the nation, it is very incumbent on us also to go. And within the context of killing, like a police officer on duty who had been shot dead by armed robbers or maybe by criminals. Now, if you are in a group and if one is shot down or killed or wounded by a criminal, definitely it sets the tone of fear to the other groups, members who are left. So it's all within the context of trauma. And trauma ranges from one sector to another. So within the context of police, one, the nature of our job leads us always within the context of trauma.
Thank you for watching Nation One TV. Kindly subscribe for more news updates.